Itro.
The meeting is being recorded. Okay.
Is it Itro?
Itro.
Itro, yeah.
Jethro.
Jethro.
You know who Jethro was?
Yes, he was working, he helped put up the sukkah before he left his fair area.
Moses' father-in-law. His name was Jethro. A few weeks ago, when Moses escaped Egypt after doing a job of the Egyptian, so he ran to a place called Midian, and he was helping a number of girls who were having challenges by the well with other shepherds. And one of the girls he ended up marrying, her name was Tzipporah. Her father was the priest of Midian. He was like the man in charge. He was like the Pope of that time. And Moses married his daughter, Tzipporah. They had two beautiful children, Gershom and Eliezer. And Moses made his way back to Egypt, and God told him at the burning bush to go and get the Jews out of Egypt. And at the same time, it was Jethro kept the daughter and the two kids in his house. And now that they left Egypt and they crossed the sea, so Jethro came to hear, after hearing about the splitting of the sea, so he came to see what's going on, and especially heard that Amalek is fighting them. So he went to check out what's going on. And the big story of this week's Parsha is obviously the story of the giving of the Torah. The revelation at Sinai, Ar Sinai, an evening, the revelation at Ar Sinai, and everything what it involves, that's the big story of this week's Parsha. It was in the year 2448 from creation. And it was 7 weeks after the Exodus. And it's being on the third month of the new established Jewish calendar. The calendar was established when they were in Egypt. That was called month number 1. And then it continued for the time when they left Egypt, crossing the sea, making their way to Mount Sinai. And in chapter 19 in this week's, the book of Exodus, we are reading everything which took place on this third month, the preparation which the Jewish people had to be involved in order to receive the Torah, what they had to do, what they went through. This is the big discussion in this Parsha. Parshas Itro is called the Parsha of Kabbalah Sator. It's like what we celebrate on Shavuot. You have an annual celebration. Oh, we have a new student in class. Come have a seat. So when never sit with the table. Don't worry. So what happens is that on the third month, when they came to Sinai, is where they got ready to receive the Torah, known as Kabbalah Sator, the preparation for receiving of the Torah. So, like I said before, there is a number of things which are being discussed in as far as the preparations are concerned. We spoke previous years in regard to the preparations which had involved in the people, and they had to wash themselves from any impurities. They had to change their clothes. They had to be clean and separate from their wives, etc., etc. But what I wanted to discuss, and part of it I discussed last year, and how do I remember? Because I have my notes from last year. So last year we spoke about that on the first day of the 3 days of preparation, Moshe warns the Jewish people about going up and climbing up the mountain. You want to see by the door there? You can come to the front door. Don't open. Okay.
That's one guy.
So in chapter 19, it starts up on verse 12. On verse 12, what does it say? Hashem tells Moshe, verse 11, they should be prepared for the third day. And Kibayom Ashlishi Yered Hashem Le'ine Kol Al Har Sinai, from on the third day from today, which that will be the 6th of the month, God will descend before the eyes of all the people on Mount Sinai. Ve'igbalta es ha'am saviv leimar. And it says, Ve'igbalta es ha'am, you should set boundaries around the mountain for the people around, and those boundaries are to say, Yishamru lachem, Alois Bohor. Be aware, be careful of ascending the mountain, Unoigoya bekoitzeyu, and touching his edge. Don't go up to the mountain and don't even touch it. Kol aneigeya boor moisyumas, whoever touches the mountain shall surely be put to death. He couldn't go in. Yisrael, go take a see what the person is. Somebody's trying to get in there. I'm sorry, a second.
I didn't even recognize who he is.
What?
I didn't recognize.
It's not that. So you said it's that.
Who is he? No, I thought it was.
Oh.
When he looked in here, somebody I didn't recognize.
Okay. Yes,
Is anybody here for a dating course?
That was.
That
that was
Yeah.
Tuesday night.
That was last night.
Tuesday night.
Yeah, come in a second.
Oh, right, it was.
I'm sorry for that. It was Tuesday, but you can join a weekly Torah portion class.
Show up to a class.
But I know it's going to continue next week.
Yeah, it's 5 weeks in a row and started like this. We know it because our son is in it, so.
Yeah.
I can ask the rabbi to reach out to you. What's your name?
Jeremy Bobotek?
Jeremy Bobotak. Okay, I will tell him that you came by mistake. You missed the day.
Yeah, all right, well, unfortunately have,
Okay, not a problem.
thank you. And
Come next week on Tuesday. They will be here. It's a different rabbi. Lady.
Okay, thank you.
All the best to you. Okay, so it says, Yishamru lachem, it says, be aware, be careful of touching the mountain. Everyone who touches the mountain should be put to death. Okay? Yod, it says, a hand should not touch it because you're going to get stoned. You can't touch it. You can't come near the mountain. Okay? So there's a clear warning not to go up to the mountain. Nachon? It's clear? Very clear. This is on when he tells them, be ready for the third day. So what day are they now? The third day is the 6th of Sivan. So what day are they? The 4th of Sivan. 3 days before the Torah is given, Hashem tells Moshe to go and have the people sanctified, wash their clothes, and make sure that they know that they cannot come near the mountain. Fine. So far, so good. Moshe goes down the mountain. Verse 14. And verse 15, what does it say? Be prepared in 3 days from now. He tells them, don't approach, don't be with your wives. Fine. Comes the third day, God descends the mountain, right? As you see it on verse 20, and Hashem calls Moshe. Verse 21, Vayomer Hashem el Moshe. God says to Moshe, Reid Oed Bom, go down and warn the people. Pen Yersu el Hashem lirois v'nafal limenu rov. Warn them not to come up the mountain, lest they break from their present position due to their desire to go nearer to God, to see His revelation. And if any of them will fall, meaning it will be a tragic, as if many had fallen. But it says in the verse, the nafal is in the singular. Rav is many. So Rashi says that God said that yes, it might be that only one would die, because one is going to run up the mountain, but I will consider it as if many died. For me, one is like many. So again, what does it tell him on the 6th day? The 6th day, there's already thunder, there's already fire, the mountain is smoking, and God tells Moshe what? Tell them not to go up. And here he adds something else, the Gamma Kohanim, Anigoshim el Hashem. Also, the Kohanim, which Rashi explains, refers to the firstborn, which served as priests, because originally, before the Kohanim took over, it was the firstborn who served as priests. So despite the fact that they are usually the ones who come near to God, they come to offer sacrifices, right? They are kind of feeling in a close relationship. They too should not consider themselves important and try to ascend the mountain. They should also make sure to stand in their position, because failing to do it, Ifroitz Bohem Hashem, God may bridge them, means He might destroy some of them. They're going to die. What's the first question that we all have over here? Anyone has a question? I have a question. Why is this 2 warnings? There was a warning on the 3rd day, and when the 3 days began, right? And the warning was, make sure they don't come the mountain. And now it's already the 6th day. Hashem is already in Har Sinai, calls them specially up, and He says, come on, make sure they don't come up.
I have a question, but it might be sort of naive. Does God know ahead of time what's going to happen?
That's a very good question. On everything that we have in the Torah, does He know ahead of time?
Mhm.
He only knows ahead of time because he looks at you after you made your own choice. He transcends time. Short answer. Why is the 2 warnings? Why is the 2 warnings? Apparently, Moses was bothered with that question. Why is the 2 warnings? Vayomer Moshe el Hashem. Moshe says to God, I don't need to warn them. Lo yuchal la'om la'alas el Har Sinai. The people cannot ascend to Mount Sinai. Why? Ki ato aidoiso bonu leimor. You have already warned us, saying, Hagbel eso or v'kidashtoi. Set boundaries from the mountain and sanctify it. He tells God, hello, God, why are you telling me again? He didn't forget, it's only 3 days. Only 3 days passed. And they remember from 3 days ago that you told us that the mountain has to be positioned and has to be sanctified, and we don't want them to come up. What's there a need for another warning? So it wasn't my question, it was Moshe's question. And Moshe doesn't say it in a manner of question. Moshe says it more in a kind of refusal to do it. Like, what's the need? What's the purpose? It was all already done. What does Hashem say in response to Moshe? Vayomer Elav Hashem, verse 24. But God says to him, Lech rei, go down and warn them a second time. Ve'oliso ato v'aron imoch, then you should ascend on the mountain. Aaron should come with you. He was also on the mountain. As Rashi says, Moses was on a higher level on the mountain. Aaron was on a lower level on the mountain. V'akoyanim ve'o'am, but the priests, which is the firstborn, they, even those who are going to come up, they are and the rest of the people, al yeharsu la'ales of Hashem, shall not break from their positions to ascend before God. Perhaps he may break against them, which basically will destroy them. Second time, God seemingly doesn't respond to Moshe. He doesn't tell him that maybe you're right, it's not necessary. He doesn't explain to him why it's necessary. If it is necessary, I guess it is necessary. Just tells him, come on, go down. What does the final verse said? Vayered Moshe lahom. Moshe went down to the people. Vayomer aleim. And he said to them the words of warning of God. Right after that, God begins the Ten Commandments. Yes.
Could the first warning have been given prior to their 3-day preparation?
No, it was a part of the 3 days. It was this 5th day.
No, but the first time that God said, "Don't touch the mountain," was that
It was on the-
pre-preparation and separation?
A
and
part of
cleaning?
it came a part of the same order of commandments. It was have them be sanctified. Let them make sure that they wash their clothes. Make sure they don't stay together with their fat wives, and make sure to tell them that the mountain is off limits.
Right. So would it be that Hashem thought that because now they had spent the 3 days and now they had gotten themselves ready, he still wanted to tell them, don't come on the mountain, even though you have done all this and prepared yourself?
No, so Rashi does say, Rashi doesn't make a big deal about it.
Okay.
Rashi says that that's the nature of things. You warn a person ahead of time that this is what is going to happen on that day. And when the day comes, you warn them again. That's what Rashi says. But Moses didn't know about it. Like, why is Moses asking God, why am I going down again? If this is a common rule that you warn someone ahead of time, and then when the final action, the day comes, you tell him again. So that's the common things. Why is Moshe telling God, they know already? The fact that Moshe tells God they know already, it seems that Moshe feels that there's no need to do it at the time now. It's enough that they should be inspired by the instruction you gave them 3 days ago.
He felt that they would already understand that.
Exactly.
But God looks at it and said, hey, you've been stubborn and disobeyed different things up to this time.
Doesn't say
With
anything
me, I'm
about
gonna give you a
disobey.
second
It
warning.
doesn't say disobey, and you make up the word. It doesn't say anything about God complaining about them disobeying. It doesn't say anything about disobeying. They
No, it
just
doesn't
became,
say,
nothing happened yet. It's only 7 weeks of nation. They didn't disobey God so much to
They
this point.
complained a couple times about the bitter water.
They wanted to drink
At
and
the
they
Red
wanted
Sea,
to
they
eat.
complained.
I mean, this is legitimate.
Yeah.
It's not a illegitimate complaint.
He was wondering what else they were gonna do.
Also, last week, we learned from your son about, Moshe was questioning, what was it? He was questioning God. Oh yeah, about people wanted to pray or take action.
Right.
In the fight.
The
The
4
fight, the
groups,
war.
they
Yeah.
divided.
And he was questioning God again. God had, and take action.
Okay. It definitely seems that God has a reason for doing it. Trying to understand what is the reason. And maybe we're trying to understand basically the conversation. What is going on between God and Moshe? God gives them a warning. God tells them a second warning. Moses said it's not necessary. God says it is necessary. What is the dusiach? What are they debating? We see when you read these verses, you see clearly that there is something over here that doesn't add up, seemingly, unless there is some insight. That I would like to discuss too.
Maybe God knew that they would go up because he sees is beyond time. So he sees that they would have gone on the mountains. He was trying to prevent from happening.
So you say that God was concerned more than the regular. God knew something but Moses didn't know. The question is, what is it? That's exactly the question.
Maybe he didn't know that they would go up the mountain.
I understand. But why didn't Moshe think so?
Moshe's in God.
And why are you arguing? If God tells you that you need a second warning, so you know you need a second warning. So basically, according to Rashi, the simple reading of the verse is, Moses tells God, I don't need to warn them again, because it's already 3 days that they are pre-warned, and they know exactly that they have no permission to go up. God said, I understand that, but still try to encourage them again, because now is the time. Now is the peak. Now is the time that we are talking about. Till now, it was just preparation time. But the 3 days, even though 3 days doesn't seem like a long time to forget, but after all, now I'm here. Now I'm here. Now I'm on the mountain. So interestingly enough, the Rashi had a grandson, Rashbam, we call him. Rashbam is the name of Rabbeinu Shmuel ben Rab Meir. Meir was Rashi's son-in-law. Rashi apparently only a daughter. So he had a son-in-law, Meir, who had a son Shmuel, and his commentary is also printed in the Chumash. And if you think Rashi is explaining the simple meaning of the verse, Rashbam goes as simple in meaning as possible. It doesn't allow any kind of midrashi, esoteric. He's trying to figure things out literally the way the verse is written. So Rashbam, interestingly, on this same verse, turns to Rashi's and he says, it doesn't say the name of his grandfather, but it say that those who say that the reason God was warning him for a second time because the first warning was the beginning of the preparation time, but now is the actual time, and that's why he warned them, and that's the nature of things. Says Rashbam, Moses obviously knew it. He knew that you warned twice. That's the nature, that there's a double warning. The fact that he is telling God, why is there a need for a second time, has to mean something more than that. Has to be some novelty, has to be some chidush, something new. Says the Rashbam that Moses was actually asking God the following. When you told me originally, let's go back to the Pasuk originally. The first warning, how's the first warning read? So the first warning on verse 13, let's go back. Verse 12, it says, Ve'igbalta sa'om saviv leimar. You should set boundaries around for the people, right? Which say, Yishamru lochem, be careful of alois ba'or, of ascending the mountain, unogoya bekotseu, or touching his edge, right? What about not touching the mountain? What about standing nearby and looking at it and watching the revelation if you read verse 12, do you see any reference to the concern of watching it or being too close? Always says, don't touch it. Right? Not ascending on the mountain and not touching his edge. This is verse 12. Comes now on verse 21, when the second repetition of the warning begins. What does God say? Go warn the people. Pen yehersu el Hashem lir'ois. Warn the people, right? The position sub. Perhaps they will break through el Hashem to God, lirois to see the revelation. So suddenly Moshe hears a new warning. You never told me about seeing. Is there an issue? Lirois, they're gonna be fired up to see. There wasn't an issue. Maybe God is expecting them to be fired up and to want to see. You know, you ever watch those?
Paparazzi,
What?
the paparazzi going after.
Not paparazzi even. But there is what do you call it? Some idol comes to sing, and everybody is trying to get to the stage closer and closer and closer. And sometimes never there's tragedies. People are dying and stepping on each other. All kind of crazy stories are happening, right? So it's more than just touching the mountain. It's more than climbing up the mountain. Now suddenly it's a new warning. So Moshe is wondering. That's what the Rashbam says. That Moshe is wondering: is there a change in the warning from yesterday from 3 days ago to now? Does God really want us to be so positioned that we shouldn't even try to be near it? Perhaps we're going to break out with excitement. Is that what the issue is? What does Hashem tell him? So what does it tell God? Exactly those words. He tells them, you told me already they can't go up the mountain, but you told me not to get up. But I guess there was a new warning. So what's God's response? On verse 24? No. I mean the first one. God says, go down and warn them that what? They should not ascend the mountain. So clearly, the conversation is Moshe has reason to be concerned that maybe there is a new type of order, right? Moshe thinks there might be a new order. What does God tell him? No, I mean the same thing like I said before. So what happened? So why is there a need for two orders? So I guess the need for two orders, because that's how the thing works. Two orders. In other words, Moshe understood there's a need for two orders. Why is there a need for two orders? Like Rashi said, you warn originally, and then you warn at a time when the situation might occur. And that's the reason why God actually gave two orders. The question what Moshe asked God is not why is the two orders. He understood why there's two orders. The question that Moshe asked God, why is there might be a change in order? Do you want me to watch them even that? What did God say? No, there's no change in order. It's exactly the way it is. But in that case, why did God change the language?
But if that's the way things work, why didn't Moshe know that's the way things?
He knew, but he saw a change in the language. He saw in the original warning, it says, don't climb up or don't touch. The second warning is, be careful not to break out by seeing the revelation. So Moshe said, 1 second, you don't want me to look? I stay like this. Is that what you want? I'm going to go down. God said, no. I want you to go down what we said originally. Fine. So it makes sense what the conversation between Moshe and God is. But what it doesn't make sense now, what doesn't make sense? What happened to God's change in the order, in the wording? First it says, don't go up, and now suddenly it's all about not going up. To the point that he actually has to confirm to Moshe that what I told you the second time, I meant what I told you the first time. So tell me the second time the way you said it the first time. What's the scene? That's the issue I have with Rashban. Clear? Huh? Ibn Ezra, another commentator, classic Sephardic commentator, over 500 years ago. First, he brings in the name of the Gaon. Whenever he brings the Gaon, it's referring to the famous sage Rab Saadia Gaon, who was post-Talmudic time before the Rishonim. And he says that the Saadia Gaon said that there is a concept. He says that I saw it. He says many years. That's what actually he writes. I'm telling you the words of the Ben Ezra. Shanim Rabot, he says, many years. Chashav b'zeh pasuk. I'm thinking about this verse, about the second warning, and I don't know the reason. I don't know the reason. Meaning not him. Saadia Gaon writes that he's trying to understand why is there a second warning, and I never understood it. Then he says, I saw in a book, in a secular book, which is written regarding conduct of Persian kings. And in that book it says that the nature is that when the king sends a messenger, the messenger comes back and he informs the king, I did your mission. I fulfilled your mission. But it says in the book that you don't come back to tell the king I performed your mission until you get a new mission. You get a new mission is then when you say, I did it first mission. And that's why Moses came back to God. He went back to God because God told him to give him a second mission. And what was Moses telling God? Not in a complaining way, in a natural conduct of the way people behave towards royalty. By the way, I did what you told me first time. Why is there a second time? Is again, could be like Rashi says, there's always two times. But he was waiting for this opportunity. That's what the Ibn Ezra brings in the name of Saadia Gaon. But the Ibn Ezra says also very similar to Rashba. He says that I think that why is there a second warning? Because Moses was suddenly told about not to see. And then he was concerned. I already told him earlier not to cross the border. And now do you want me to give them a new order not to see? And Hashem says, no. I mean the same thing. I mean actually not to cross. But we had a similar question. So why is God changing the orders? So that's one question that we need to put on the side for. But clearly, what is it, according to Rashi? What is the purpose for two warnings? Because that's the things that done usually. I tell you, in 3 days from now, on Sunday, you're going to stay home and watch the house, 10 o'clock. And what happens on Sunday morning before I leave the house at 9? It's 10 o'clock, you're watching the house, remember? That's normal. That's called two warnings. One before ahead of time and one when the time comes. And that's the purpose. But we are wondering what did God change? The Orach Chaim HaKadosh, like I said, there are different commentators. I will share with you a few. The Orach Chaim HaKadosh, the famous Reb Chaim Ben Attar, Zkuto Yagen Aleinu L'Kol Yisrael, Amen. He actually has an interesting insight. He says that these two warnings actually are something changed after the first warning. And that's what gave Moses the reason to worry and complain, and that's what God had to respond. What happened, says the Orchai? Originally, God said, go tell the Jewish people no one is to ascend or to touch the mountain. Then Moses comes up, and what is he being told? That even the Kohanim, the priests that wants to service me, which they will go up a little bit on the mountain, on a lower level, but make sure to tell them that whatever level is assigned for them, this is where they should be positioned. They shouldn't consider any other climb, any other location. That's where they belong, that's where they should stay. But Moses thinks to himself, when it came the first warning, I was never told about the Kohanim being able to go up. That's why I came down and I told everybody across the board, everybody be careful. There is a mountain. Do not come near the mountain. You're going to be in trouble. It seems everybody, including him. He didn't know that he's going to be up, calling up to the mountain. And then he realized that Kohanim, he is going to be up. Aaron is going to be up. Some of the other priests are going to be up. There's different levels. The higher level is Moses. The lower level is Aaron. The lower level is the Kohanim. But suddenly there is individuals who are being invited to join God on the actual mountain. What's going to happen? That is going to encourage the rest of the people, says the Or Chaim, to say, okay, we can go up too. Maybe not to the top, but where David Schneider is staying, I want to stand too. Where Aaron Cohen is standing, I'm going to stand too, because, we were all told not to, and suddenly there is some protectia, right? Some people are able to find a way up, so maybe it's kosher for everybody. And therefore, God had to tell Moshe, go back down and tell them that no one should try to go up the mountain. Moshe didn't realize that. He thought that, he thought that, the warning is a warning. But God told them, I know my warning, but I also know my people. And when they're going to see that some people were called up and others remain, they're going to think, okay, we can all climb up. Right? And this is the way the Chizkuni, he learns like this. I have over here a book, Nachlat Yaakov. This was a very famous Talmudist in the city of Lisa. Lisa was a city in Poland. He wrote the Sivos, a Mishpat. He wrote very, very big, strong Talmudic discussions. I saw this morning, he actually says the same thing. He says, he brings Rashi and he says, what is the meaning? He says, Mikodem Mizirat Hashem Yitbarach Beigbalta et Aham, God warned them, be positioned, be careful. And that indication was that even Moses and Aaron are not going to ascend, because the mitzvah of positioning yourself was told to everyone. And therefore, when Moses was told again, go warn the people, so Moses says, don't worry, you're not able to go up because you all warned us. We are required to be in our position. They are required. So there's no worry. So God says, no, you are going up on the mountain. And Aaron is going up on the mountain. And that's what my concern is. When they're going to see you going up, they're going to say, if they go up, we can go up too. So therefore, I need you to go down again. So it's more than just warning and re-warning. By the way, you can go, there's a bed downstairs. I'm going to wake you up. Don't worry, I'm not going to leave you tonight. Go down. You look tired. Come on. Daven Ma'ariv and geh schlafen. Huh? The Orach Chaim also says, by the way, and this is also written by the Maral of Prague in his book Gur Arya. The Chumash, they say, both say something else. They say actually that the God gave him the first warning. He didn't say when should it start. He didn't give him a time. At which point can you not touch the mountain? Now, 3 days before, when God comes down, it doesn't say when it starts.
1 day before,
What?
you can touch it.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
therefore, God tells them, come up, and he says, go down now. Now is the time it starts. Now I need you to warn them. Now I need you to tell them. Because now is the time when I'm going to speak to them. And now is the mountain going to become sanctified in a way that everyone should be careful of going up. So this is another way to look at it. Like I said, this is what Orach Chaim HaKadosh says, and other commentaries say something similar. It's also very possible, I mean, that's been maybe what they mean. God said 3 things. God said, prepare the people, let them wash their clothes, and they should not touch the mountain. Go back a second. You see something, you have to look at the verse. Go back a second again to verse 10. So, yeah, verse 10. What does Hashem tell to Moshe? And the first time he tells them at the preparation, what does he say? Go to the people, the Kiddashtam, Ayoim u'Mochor. They should be sanctified today, right? And verse 10, what does it say? Go to the people and make them ready today and tomorrow. They should wash their garments. And this is verse 10. Verse 11, they should be prepared for the 3rd day. Okay? Be prepared. This is the idea, stay away from the wives, etc. Verse 12. What's the verse 12? The mountain. No one should touch it. Comes verse 14. What does Moshe do?
Goes down to the mountain,
And what does he do?
talks to the people directly.
What does it say, verse 14? Don't make up words. What does it say?
He prepares the people.
He sanctifies the people and washes their clothes. He fulfills whichever was told to them on verse 10. And then on verse 15, he tells them about being prepared. Right? Do you see anything him telling them about the mountain?
Refer, the way it reads is that don't worry about, but the 3rd day don't go up, but it didn't say anything about the 1st and 2nd.
I'm not talking about the time now. I'm asking now, forget about what I said before my time. I'm asking, he has 3 messages for the people. Message number 1 is sanctify them, wash your clothes. Message number 2, be ready for 3 days. Message number 3, don't touch the mountain.
Don't touch the mountain or don't come close.
And don't touch the mountain and don't come to his edge. Don't touch his edge. What does Moshe come and tell the people? Be prepared. What else does he tell them?
Wash the clothes,
Wash your clothes.
stay away from the wives.
Does he tell them to stay away from the mountain? Doesn't tell them. But then I don't understand this whole story. What's the issue? Moshe comes up to God. And God says, go tell them about warning the people. I guess God is looking. He never told them. What does Moshe say? No, they know already not to. God says, no, go down and tell them. What do you mean they know already? You never told them. Right. You never told them. How should they know? What's the answer? The answer lies in the previous thing. Moshe thought they're going to saw us not coming up. So we're going to be there. But everybody, come on, stay put. Don't go anywhere. But now that God tells Moshe, you are excluded, and your brother is excluded, you're not going to be there. So now I need you to actually give them a warning. They shouldn't go up because you're not going to be there to warn them. The reason you did not warn them till now, because you were relying that you're going to be there. And if they're going to see you standing put, they also going to stand put. It's not true. You're not going to be there. Simple. Let me tell you a Hasidic insight. This is said by Rabbi Itro writes it in the book of Kedushas Levi. The Berditchever says that there's an interesting conversation which is going on here between Moshe and God. He says Hashem comes to Moshe and he tells him, I need you to tell them not to touch the mountain. Moshe went down. I guess he did tell them. And Moshe Rabbeinu comes up. God says, I need you to tell them again. Because that's how people do things. They warn originally, and then they warn at the time when it's supposed to happen. Today is the day. I need you to tell them again. Says Rabbi Levi, it's like a prediction. Moshe Rabbeinu looks at God and he says, Rabbeinu Shalom, is there even a thought? Is there even a concern that Jewish people who heard what you said will not obey that order? You need me to go warn them now again? Obviously, they heard your voice, they heard the commandment. I am sure, I believe 100% that they will keep to everything you told them. I'm not concerned about it.
But you said Moshe didn't tell them that.
According to the simple understanding that Moshe did tell them. That was my side comment. But assuming that he told them, it's all included somewhere in the words here. Like most commentaries learn. Says the Berditchever, so Moshe tells God, I don't need to go and tell them again. I believe in my people. They heard your voice, they heard your order. I told it to them once. Yes, I have to tell my son to warning because Sunday he forgets. I have to remind him again. But I don't think that they will forget. Moshe believed in the people because Moshe looked at them the way he had a relationship with God. He knows that God tells him once, he doesn't have to repeat it ever again. What does Hashem tell Moshe? Go, descend, go down. Says the Berditchever, go down does not just go down. Go down from your own level. Go and look at them, not the way you approach your own self. Look at them as people. And I'm telling you, Moshe, they need a second warning. But we told them 3 days ago. You're going to find many excuses to say that they don't remember, they didn't apply it, they weren't assuming that this is. That's why I'm telling you now, Moshe, I need you to go down. That was Berditchever. I'm going to read you his holy word. It says, Moshe Rabbeinu was a believer in the words of God, and he kept Hashem's word. At the moment he heard the commandment, he's going to do it any quick way to fulfill it, and obviously never to forget about it. So Moshe Rabbeinu taught, just like I believe in God, and I do not transgress His orders, and I do not violate His command, so too is the belief of every Jewish heart. But what is the truth? We are not like Moshe. Moshe saw God face to face. His emunah was so strong, and not to violate because it was always cleaving to God. Hashem tells Moshe, "Reid, go down." Go down means go down from your own level. and get involved into their level, get into what the way they look at things. And you're gonna see, do they need, do they need, do they need oh, how do you know? They are not you. In other words, Moshe Rabbeinu is trying to look at the people the way he sees people. That was always Moshe. That was the whole beauty of Moshe Rabbeinu. And sometimes he needed what they call in English a reality check. And God says, look,
Is this also the same thing, the same bread that he told him go down when the sin of the golden calf happened, when he said bread should come up?
that's right. Dear, it's Hashem said, yes. Also, it says clearly, Hashem said you should go down from greatness because you people had messed up. The people had messed up. There is actually a Gemara in Avodah Zarah. Here's the second Avodah Zarah. The beginning of Avodah Zarah, the Gemara says, when they left Mitzrayim, it says that the evil inclination was removed from them. Oh. Just a second. Oi, Tate. I know. It says here in the Gemara somewhere. Thank you. That when they came to Matan Torah, when they came to Matan Torah, the evil inclination was completely removed from them. Yeah. Kimesu Melame, the Gemara says, Kirather Kedish Leitehei, Ume Velasha Sheletas Bohem. Gemara says over here somewhere, I can't see at this moment, that basically when the Jewish people came to Mount Sinai, the evil inclination was completely removed from them. So I guess Moshe looked at them like, okay, you don't have an evil inclination, I don't have an evil inclination, we're all perfectly fine, and therefore there's no worries. But Hashem looked at them and he said, look, like you said before, does Hashem know what's going to happen? Maybe God even saw already they are about in 40 days to do the golden calf. He said, okay, I know these people. Go, go tell them right away a second warning because they need it.
People don't change.
What?
People don't change. You got to remind people.
Yeah, there are still people. Yeah.
It's like a father knows the son. So the father then reminds the son. He knows the son wasn't paying attention the first time. He's reminding him.
Especially on this side is It's a
Stiff-necked
stiff-necked people.
The question, like, but the only answer I don't have, not the only answer, is this idea that God changed from not only shouldn't touch it, they shouldn't break out by seeing it. I mean, obviously, it could be it's the same idea. By them, I don't want them to touch it, and I don't want them to look at it. Doesn't mean it's not supposed to look. The type of look which is going to inspire them to break out of those boundaries and to decide to touch and to do something which they're not supposed to.
Would that be similar to Aaron's sons when they took
Exactly.
the fire?
Thinking about it, our sons doing
Also-
that which is not doing that which is not
They felt,
which is not instructed.
they felt they might want to get closer to God once they see.
Exactly.
But isn't it also a sin to look at God?
Right, but that's
No,
not
you
what
don't
is
need the
discussing.
tribes,
Right,
no.
this is not the here it's more the issue that they might get out of their limitation. God has a certain order put in place, and He wants them to keep that order. It's interesting. The Rebbe once said a story. I heard it from the Rebbe. It was Shabbos Nosai, 1987. Rebbe spoke about Rashi. Why did the Levites not bring a gift, dedication of the Mishkan? Everybody brought, but not the Levites. And the Rebbe said because the Levites were like a groom that's not giving himself a gift and they have a wedding. This is their celebration. When they dedicated the Mishkan, the tabernacle, all the tribes brought gifts. The Levites didn't bring. The question the Rebbe discussed, how come everyone participating, the Levites are not? The Rebbe said it's not a point for Levites to participate. It's like a wedding for them. They are the ones who are doing the service. They are the bride and groom. They don't need to bring a gift. They are the ones who are being gifted. And the Rebbe said that a groom and bride don't serve. They are the ones who are being served. He said a story. I always remember the way the Rebbe said the story. The Rebbe said was at my own wedding. My wedding. The Rebbe got married in Warsaw, 1928, week after Hanukkah, before Hanukkah. And the previous Rebbe said, got up from his chair and with a bottle of vodka to give l'chaim to the different guests, participants of the wedding. Once I saw my father was standing, I got up too, and I took a cup trying to help. And he told me, you have to sit. Obviously, the Rebbe said, when I saw him standing, I couldn't hold myself back from sitting. I started to get up again, and he gave me such a look. The Rebbe used an expression, "Sigiment zu singen und zu sagen," like an expression like it was,
Truth.
it was like, like above and behind. And so, what's the idea of here? When you connect it to something higher, it's even it can be the biggest tzaddik, and you need to be put, with some boundaries, and that's the idea. That's actually the idea of here. I saw here no, something else. Anyway, so that's basically the part. The idea is that we had a different view, different commentaries, how to understand the double warning, and ultimately that in order to be ready to receive the Torah, you have to learn boundaries and control. And it's not enough that we are putting a filter. We have to keep on telling ourselves a warning again and again. Not for you, not for you. It's not for you, you're not meant to do it. And then hopefully Hashem will help. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
brought back-
Rabbi.
Yes, thank you.
It's kind of like when you make your house ready for baby-proof a house. You have to get down on their level to see what they're seeing to know that you're getting the right place.
That's true. Another good analyzation.
The question is, because Hashem is substance of spiritual substance. The mountain is a physical thing. So when he told Jewish people, through Moses, tell that people don't come close to mountain, the physical thing.
No, but the mountain became spiritual.
How
Mountain
mountain
became all,
physical,
that was the
thing.
old novelty of Matan Torah. The physical mountain became, penetrated with godliness and holiness. That was the old chiddush. The old desire of Matan Torah was to spiritualize the physical. To spiritualize the physical. That was the whole idea.
Was that something new at the time?
Completely, never had such a thing. That a physical thing should become holy. They never had such a thing. That was the first time. And that prepared the Jewish people for their mission to spiritualize physical things. That's when it started. Kalamayesh. Okay. We're going to learn something here. Then we're going to go to the next learning.
So, Rabbi. I have a
Yes.
question. I've always